Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the video. Just want to take you through what a typical Saturday looks like in this phase of my life right now, where I'm wrapping up school. I think in my last video, I included some shots of me prepping for my interview. Killed it, got the job, accepted the offer. So I'm starting in like a month and a bit from now. So maybe things will change, but right now, where I'm in school, I'm also working on my startup, and I've just got a bunch of things going on. Saturdays are days I really try to maximize. And before I get into anything else, I just wanted to thank you guys sincerely for the support that I got on the last video I put out. I know it's nothing crazy, but like I got 91 of you guys subscribed. Like that's crazy to me that you want to follow along and actually hear what I have to say, see what I'm up to. I think we got like 3,000 views and just a bunch of really supportive comments. And it really means a lot. I was not expecting this kind of feedback off the bat. Like I literally just sat down and started recording videos. I figured I would get like 40 views. So it means a lot. It's super motivating for me. Making these videos has been an absolute blast. And if you're someone like me who like for the longest time, like I remember in like high school years ago, I wanted to make videos and I never ended up pulling the trigger. I was maybe too afraid, maybe there was too much going on, whatever excuse I had, I just didn't do it. But then one day, like couple months ago, I just decided let's just film a video, even if it's a crappy video. Let's just film it, go through the motions, and get it out there. And it's been an absolute blast making these. So thank you guys. I really appreciate it. And I'm gonna keep talking here, but I'm gonna mix up some pre-workout. I have no clue how close or far this thing's supposed to be from me. I hope it sounds good. I absolutely butchered it in another video, so I apologize if it's not. So I haven't been taking pre-workout for a little bit. Well, if you're someone like me who like in I think ninth grade, 15 years old is when I started taking pre-workout. I took it every single morning religiously for 8 years straight up until a few weeks ago when I decided to take a break, and it's been great. It's been awesome. But on a day like today, when you haven't taken it for a while and you have a full upper body pump day, after I've been having like any caffeine really. I've just been off it, kind of detoxing. Taking a full scoop of pre-workout for a day like today will be magical. Got Total War pre-workout going in. And one thing, I was doing the Chris Bumstead raw pre-workout, and one thing I found with that is that it is a gram of L-tyrosine in it, and L-tyrosine is awesome. Like I have L-tyrosine right here. But the issue with L-tyrosine is that, especially when combined with caffeine, it really spikes your dopamine. So if you have a pre-workout with L-tyrosine in it, you feel fucking amazing for your workout. But then like you have just a huge peak. You've got like super loud music, you've got caffeine, everything tastes good, you've got the L-tyrosine, and you get a nice pump. Like you're at the peak of your day right there. But then if you're working out first thing in the morning and then you come back and you sit down at your desk and actually try to focus, it's just like, it's hard. It's hard to reach that same peak. You're in like your dopamine peak, and then you get your trough after that. You're below your baseline before you even started your work for the day. So I kind of figured that out. And now instead, I've kind of flipped it on its head. So during the week when I'm working, I don't take any pre-workout, no caffeine or anything. I just go to the gym. Maybe I have some honey, and I just go to the gym, get the workout over with. And then when I come back, I either have a coffee. For a while I wasn't doing a coffee, but then I take L-tyrosine and try to spike my dopamine as I'm sitting down to work. And it just helps you get into a better flow state and have more of an association as the deep work being enjoyable rather than everything that comes before the deep work. So that's been a shift that I've had personally. And so my phone died and I didn't know, and I continued to yap to the camera for 5 minutes. So I think you guys got spared. Didn't have to hear me blab for that long. But I ended up mixing everything together, but I can kind of condense everything that I just said for the last bit. So last thing I put in, creatine, and then I also put in the Carboling carbs. I put almost a full scoop in. I might take some more later if I do go for a run, just for an extra carb hit. But I haven't been taking that. Like I've said in other videos, I've just been taking the L-carnitine. Maybe I'll dip my finger in the honey jar. Literally, like I just take honey. I've just been trying to like lean out a little bit. I've been doing like the animal-based diet, like pretty strict. If you don't know what that is, search up Paul Saladino on YouTube. He's got great videos on it. I feel absolutely amazing when I'm doing it. But for working like today, when I want just like peak energy, peak pump, I'm taking a little bit of carbs. What else did I say? What else? Everything was really good that I said. It was good. I think the only other thing is that like kind of the motivation behind taking a break off of caffeine. I didn't feel bad in any way, really. Just the biggest thing is, well, I wanted to test it out. I wanted to see, like, I did notice that, like, I kind of like having, like, instead of peaks and dips and energy, just going straight through for the whole day. And also, the other thing that I really noticed is I never, like, I'm a good sleeper. I, like, always sleep pretty deep. I can fall asleep on a dime. But one thing I noticed is that after, like, on days like cutting out caffeine, I use Aura to track my sleep. My deep sleep levels go from like 17%, like, and usually they're around like 20, but I was getting as high as like 27%. My deep and REM sleep goes up, and I just feel way more rested. So yeah, that's been something that I really noticed. But yeah, I've got pre-workout mixed up now. I'm gonna absolutely devour this. I'm gonna drink it while I do my morning work session. I can fill you guys in on what I'm getting up to, but let's go. So this morning, while I'm drinking my pre-workout, I'm just going to get probably like an hour of work in before I go to the gym. And what I'm working on right now is we have our mobile app fully functional. One thing, like, so I'm our primary user right now. I've been using the Muse headband that we reverse engineered to connect to our app. But as you'll see later in the video, going into next week, I'll finally have our glasses instead of this, because this, like, it goes, it's like, I don't know if you can see, but it's like metal right there. It works great. Like, Muse has a great product, but for me personally, if I'm going to be wearing it and like doing work and stuff like that for long periods of time, having that right across there like really hurts. And honestly, like, sometimes it'll swell up if I have like a little bit of, like, if I have a pimple or something there, it'll just get like inflamed. So not crazy comfortable. So I haven't been wearing it as much as I would like to. So we'll have our glasses soon, but the app works perfectly fine. But the problem is, to keep that like Bluetooth connection and have it streaming, I have to have the app open and by me the entire time. And when I'm doing deep work, I don't want my phone near me. I just want to stay locked in on what I'm doing. So what I'm doing instead is I'm making our web app right now. We wanted a web app anyway. We just weren't prioritizing it. But now we use Expo for the mobile app, and then kind of converting this to a Next.js web app. Obviously, it's a lot easier than making it all from scratch, but it's still time consuming to transfer everything over. And so the main thing I'm doing right now is I have most of our components and everything redone for the web. The only big thing I'm doing right now is, instead of using like the React Native Bluetooth low energy package that we're using in the app, instead we have to use the web Bluetooth API. So I'm setting that up now. So it's a little nuanced, a bit different, not insanely different, but I'm taking the time to just refactor our overall Bluetooth management code on the actual like client side. So working on that this morning, because I would like to be able to just keep my phone away and still track my focus and everything like that just with my computer. So hoping to get that done and working pretty soon. And once we get these glasses, it'll be a lot better and I can start like tracking full time. So yeah, gonna have a great fun coding session here this morning. And then after that, after the gym, Matt and I are meeting up at the engineering campus again, because he has everything, like, he's been going ham on our firmware. And so he has that all like working very well. Now, since I've written most of the code for our app, we're gonna get together and make it so you can swap out between the glasses and the Muse, so that going into this week, I can develop with the glasses and I can wear the glasses full time to track like my full week of work, which is perfect. And it's just in time because, so coming up, I have my finals coming up for school. And so this is going to be a video that I'll be putting out, but I really want to experiment and just see how does like my focus and brain health look like over the full like finals week or 2 weeks. So I can really understand like what's going on in that time where it's maybe heightened stress, heightened workload, compared to maybe the week after or another week where it's maybe more normal, more baseline. So gathering data for us and for building our product, but then also just gathering data and different anecdotes that I can share with you guys to implement whether you have the product or not. So yeah, I'm going to get into it and I will see you later for the gym. So I ended up just doing completely not what I said I was going to do. I got a little sidetracked, but now I have this global side panel with a nice animation. So I ended up using Framer. Obviously, it's not going to look like this, but it's going to be reused for basically everything, whether that is viewing a block, that's creating a new session, connecting the glasses, everything's going to open through this side panel here. And then also if you're in a session, seeing your session live stats and everything like that. Or for example, if I'm in here and I want to go and view one of these more in depth, it'll all open through that side panel. So I'm setting it up through this kind of React context here, this global modal provider. Most of this is still stuff I need to get rid of that's related to everything's done through bottom sheets in the app. But yeah, trying to make it super reusable. I'm just setting up this single side panel component, and then at the root layout, setting it up so it animates nice and smooth. Yeah, so that's what I ended up doing instead of all the Bluetooth stuff, because I figured that's a whole can of worms, and this was something a little lighter for the morning.
Guess my sleep score.
We went out 64.
91. Optimal sleep stages is what it says. Ready for my 2.5 hour bike ride.
Oh, here it is. Swear it's gonna go down.
What happens if like somebody just like put crack in my mouth? Like what happens then? Am I just like addicted? They're like, you probably be addicted. No, I don't know if it's just no going back. But like, I just remember being like worried that somebody was gonna give me crack somehow.
But she holds her nerve, refusing to leave.
So back for breakfast time. I'm absolutely starving. Fasted for a little while. Took a little longer than I thought I was gonna, but getting a lot of food in here. So I got a big bowl of ground beef and gonna put some raw unpasteurized honey in there. This is basically what I have for breakfast every single day. Look at that. It's pretty addictive. If you think it's weird, like I said this morning, just look up Paul Saladino and you'll understand why. So I've got a bowl of ground beef, I've got some smoked Gouda, I've got an orange, and then I've got some Greek yogurt with some fruit. So I'm gonna eat this and get cleaned up and then get back to work. So after breakfast, I get more of my supplements in. Lots of these you want to take with food. So what I talked about this morning. L-tyrosine improves your dopamine baseline. So I like taking this after my workout when I'm carrying on with the rest of my day. Also have lion's mane, really good for long-term brain health support. Also have the grass-fed beef organs. So I think we've got liver, heart, kidney, spleen. And so they're all like freeze-dried, desiccated in capsule form. So you always want to get beef organs, especially if you're doing animal-based. Lots of great nutrients, lots of vitamins in there. And it's hard to eat all of that, obviously. Most of the time you don't want to, so it's a lot easier to take it in capsule form. And then the last thing, or second last thing I've got omega-3 fish oils. Taking 3 of those helps with inflammation. And last thing, it's starting to get sunnier out, but in Nova Scotia, especially in the wintertime, it's pretty dark. You don't get much sun, so taking vitamin D3. There we go. Now we're ready to rock. It's a big fucking crane, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. How you doing?
Good, how you doing? All right, so we've finally made it here. We're at the engineering campus. We locked down a room pretty quickly and easily. We thought it might be a little packed. We've got the full spread on the table here, just ready to lock in for a great day of working on our product. So the first order of business, Matt has one thing we're trying to set up is sending control characteristics. So that's where we have our Bluetooth interface. We have the main service for our device, and then there's a bunch of different characteristics. And so there'd be a characteristic for one electrode, for the other electrode, for the heart rate monitor. And then also there's one called the control characteristic. And so that's the one that we're actually sending from the client. So the app or the web app, we're actually sending different codes to that to command the device to do certain things like start streaming, pause streaming, dump data, or maybe configure different preset configurations. So that's what we're setting up now. He has it sending properly from just an app that he's testing with. And now we're going to get it working in our main app. And so one thing I wanted to touch on, because this was a disaster for me when I first started working on this app. If you've ever tried to develop an iOS app and you don't have a Mac, it's kind of brutal, but we use Expo, and there's a thing called the Expo Dev Client if you haven't heard of it. And so it makes it super easy. All I have to do, like on my computer here, I just go npx expo start. And just like as if I was running a like local server that I'm working, if say I'm working on a front end locally for a web app, maybe it's a Next.js app, I would start the server locally and then I would open up my local host in my browser and then I can see everything and I get hot reloading. So I kind of thought like, how do you do that for an app? And Expo makes it super easy. So I just started the server. I take my phone, I scan it, and oh, I forgot yours doesn't work.
Oh, you have to do tunnel.
Oh, okay, right. Is it like dash tunnel?
Yes.
You get this QR code and you take your phone. You have to do a bunch of, like Expo has great documentation on it. You have to do a bunch of stuff to install a dev client build on your phone. Once you have that, all you do is you open up your camera and you scan the QR code and then it bundles the app and then you're in. And so you can, just like your window on localhost that you have open, you can just literally pop the phone there and you get hot reloading on the fly. I think we're live. Hopefully that's better. Hopefully it's not worse. So while Matt's digging in there, I just want to take a second to show our prototype here. Let me swap it out. Now, obviously, this is far from a final form factor, but we didn't want to do any work on like miniaturizing and all that stuff before we had everything sorted out for our hardware, firmware, software, all that stuff before we actually invest in that. But right now, let's see, we've got our custom printed circuit board, Sway branding on there. We've got these lovely wires dangling off, and then we have these. They're called soft pulse electrodes. They're from a company in Switzerland, I think. Now, obviously, this, again, not final form factor. We have smaller ones that are going to be basically flush with the arms. But for right now, these are what we're working with for testing. So you have I don't know. Okay, so we're back with a new mic. Hopefully that sounds a lot better. Yeah, we're good. Okay. Anyway, where was I? So yeah, we've got our nice PCB here with the custom Sway logo. And obviously that wouldn't fit in the arm of glasses, but we're going to be able to very easily miniaturize that once we are sure that everything is exactly what we need on there. And we wouldn't have these gross wires, but for now, it's what we're working with. We have the longer electrodes there. These are the soft pulses out of Switzerland. And we have one of these is the primary electrode, one is a reference electrode, and then we also have a ground electrode there. But obviously, when we have our full product, we have electrodes that are a lot flatter than this. We just haven't put them on yet. It'll be basically flush with that and just enough sticking out. It's still soft, but enough that it can penetrate through the hair. So you get a nice steady signal. You don't have to worry about moving around and all that stuff. Let's pop this on just so you can see here. Now it looks kind of goofy right now, obviously, but I would just send this down through my shirt when I'm starting to wear this regularly. And I think before I start to wear it regularly, we might rig it up maybe a little differently or with the other electrodes. But basically, the whole idea is that even with this like funky setup here, we're gonna rig up my actual glasses because I won't be able to see shit without these. But the whole idea is that we're able to verify everything in the entire user experience and get positive feedback without spending the upfront money and time to invest in multiple prototyping rounds of like actually doing our printed circuit boards and paying out of pocket for stuff like that, getting those miniaturized circuit boards, sourcing all those electronics, and then also for like we can 3D print glasses and stuff like that. But for like kind of an end product, we're gonna have to do things like injection molding or partnerships and stuff like that. So there's just like a lot of other things to think about, and also lenses. Like I would have to get my same prescription or blue light blockers if someone else is using it that doesn't have a prescription. So it's just a lot easier this way to verify everything to a point where we're able to basically show interest from people that want to use it and show kind of the end goal and end user experience to investors so that we can get that money to actually make those production runs. So, wrapped up with Matt, we got everything working exactly how we wanted to. We're gonna meet up tomorrow morning to get back at it. But I just went home after that. I had another meal. I had some steak with honey and squash. And after that, I got a bit more work in, did some web dev stuff, and then a little bit of video editing. And now we are at beautiful Point Pleasant Park here with the lady. And we're going for a nice nighttime walk and then having some late night sushi. A great Saturday.